I'm Shannon Ireland, your host of a Healthy Push podcast. I struggled with anxiety, panic disorder, and agoraphobia for 15 years. Everything used to be hard for me. Even just driving 5 minutes from my house used to feel impossible. But now I absolutely live for travel and adventure, and I experience lots of peace and joy. I've not only reclaimed my life, but I've helped hundreds of others to do the same. Here, we stop managing anxiety and instead we create a healthy relationship with it. One where you say goodbye to the anxious thoughts, symptoms, panic attacks, and fears, and you actually live your life. Forget complicated strategies, quick fixes, or the same old hacks you've heard 100 times before. Each week, I'll bring you simple, actionable advice and honest conversations that lead to real, long-term healing. You aren't just an anxious person, my friend. There are reasons why you're struggling with anxiety, and these are things you can fix and heal from. And this is where that journey begins. Welcome. You're right where you're meant to be. Hello, and welcome back to a Healthy Push podcast. Today is our second recording of Recovered and Rambling, and I am just so freaking excited and happy. I feel like the first one went really well. How did you feel about it, Brittany?
I was pretty nervous, but then it was just like we were talking like we usually do, so it was fun.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about it this morning, and I'm like, it just was smooth. I got so much good feedback. It seemed like people really enjoyed the first episode. So I'm like, we're just gonna keep it going, see how it goes. And I don't know, I like it. So I'm like, it's sticking around for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is called Recovered and Rambling, right? So I want to start with a recovery thing because this was massive. I always love when I get a picture from you or I'm like, "Ooh, I know that this is something big or just something really cool." So you took a trip to New York City. Talk about it.
I finally went back to New York. I mean, my family is from New York. I commuted to New York for years, but yeah, my story changed quite a bit with a lot of my anxiety, and so I hadn't been back since 2019. Like a little bachelorette party I had there before I got married. I really just kind of was like, I guess maybe I'll see New York again in person. Um it kind of felt like everything else, like, out of the realm of possibilities again,
Mhm.
and we'd even my husband and I, a few years after that, had attempted to go to New York, and I panicked right before the tunnel, and I was like, "I'm so sorry," and we ended up spending the day in Jersey instead. So this was massive, and it was so exciting. It was just like any other day. I was completely fine. Even the buildup wasn't as bad as it used to get, like, just, like, the anticipatory, like, of course I had it, but not as intense, and I was just there for it, like, I was so present, like, I was every time I was doing something else or just roaming around, I was like, "Oh my god, you're fine. Okay, you're fine."
It
It was
is
amazing.
so wild. It's so wild because obviously if you know getting into a city like New York, I mean, there's kind of nothing like it. It
Yes.
is kind of chaos no matter when you go. And there are bridges and tunnels and you can't avoid any of that stuff. So I just
Mhm.
it's so funny because before we hopped on, Brady and I talk about what are we going to talk about? And she was like, "No, I don't we don't really need to talk I don't think that's we don't need to talk about that." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" You were deeply struggling with panic agoraphobia, had such a hard time driving, and like you said, you used to commute into the city all the time, and it, wasn't a big deal, but for years, that wasn't possible, you couldn't even think about doing that. And so now to have this experience of "Oh, yeah, we just went and I was fine." I'm like, "No, we're talking about it. Are you psycho?"
I know. That's why, like, it's so good to, like, be open and, like, have, like, your community of people that understand you because, like, I didn't even really think about that. Like, obviously, beforehand, I told you I was excited to go, and then, obviously, I'm sure I sent you a picture or a message, I don't even remember, but I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going, like, I did it, totally fine."
Yeah.
But then, like, right after, I just, like, undermined my own success. I was just like, "Okay, well, it's not really a big deal." Like, so it's
Oh,
so
it's
good to, like, be, like, open about that stuff because then you're like, "Oh my god, you're right, like, I'm doing it, like, I'm gonna be
yeah.
okay."
Right. It's so crazy how our brains work. It's just like for
Mhm.
years, right? This thing was so massive, like this mountain that, like, absolutely not, you're not going there. And then you do it, and your brain just like, oh, yeah, like, not a big deal. It's just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I see this all the time in Panicked Peas and in my community. Like, people will post their wins and be like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. And I'm just like looking at this going, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, that, what you just did
Yeah.
was massive. Like, somebody shared the other day, they took their daughter to the park by themselves and was pushing her on the swing, shared this picture. Of course, I'm crying because when don't I cry? But she hadn't done that in 2 years. And I'm just like, but
Mm.
of course, her brain was like, well, this is something people do every day. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, no, we're not minimizing. Like, this is
Yeah.
insane and we need to celebrate it. So, like, yeah, it's like we need to celebrate those moments because it's pretty
Yeah.
freaking incredible.
Yeah, I think that, like, even when you're expressing those fears before, like, when you're in the panic and you're explaining it to someone who doesn't understand your anxiety, they're like, "Oh, don't worry, you'll get back there one day." So I think it kinda makes it feel like nothing. So then when you do it, it's like, "Okay, well, we I knew you would," and you're like, "You have no idea. I did not think I would," like, I'm glad you believed in me, but, like, when you're in it, you're in it. You're like, "No, there's no way." You're like,
Yeah.
"Those are just, like, dreams."
Oh, yeah,
'Cause it
for
feels
sure.
impossible, you know?
For sure. I mean, I had that say like a very similar experience. I think this was probably 2 or 3, it was probably 2 years ago, actually. I took Amelia and we went on a road trip, drove from Maine to Connecticut, which was where my best friend was living at the time. And it was probably, I don't know, a 6-hour drive. And I just was like, oh, I'm, just gonna do it and not think about it. But then when I got back, I had that moment of like, you never would have done something like that. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
insane. Like, I mean, if anyone knows me personally, they know, like, I suck with directions. I never know where I am. I use maps around where I live, okay? Like, I am so bad. So for me to get in the car and just be like, "Oh, we're gonna go and to
Yeah.
this place we've never been," with my she must have been 5 at the time, like, it's just so wild to think about those things, and you really have to, like, slow down and have gratitude because
Yeah,
it's so cool.
absolutely. You almost get more grateful for those things, so
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I feel like before we jumped on, I'm like, this is gonna be like the Brittany show. I feel like you've been doing more living than I have lately. But like, you also sent me a picture of you getting a tattoo, and I was just like, oh, I hate you. Like, obviously people know, like, I have many, many tattoos, and my family will be like, you're plenty covered. You don't need any more, Shannon. But I absolutely like, I haven't gotten one in I don't know, it's been at least a year and a half, which is insanity for me. So when you sent me
yeah,
the
it doesn't
picture
feel like that.
no, I know.
But you were also like, "Oh, I'm so glad I don't have to feel the thigh again," 'cause I
Um,
got my front thigh.
ugh. I mean, it's like that classic when people ask you, like, "Does it hurt?" And I'm like, "Come on." Like, yes, it hurts so
Yes.
bad. And when you like, I have tattoos on both of my thighs, and that was one of the most painful, and I'm like, "Ooh, I'm so glad that's done." Like, I'm so glad so
Yeah.
many areas are covered and I don't ever have to think about it again, but it hurts so freaking bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great, but we still love it. That's my favorite. Like, well, there's the people that pretend that tattoos don't hurt, which is ridiculous
I
because
fell
they of course
asleep.
do.
I'm like, "Liar. You did not fall asleep."
Seriously, but then there's also the people that are like, "I don't understand. You have so much anxiety, but you keep getting tattoos." And it's like, it's just not the same. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's just not the same. It doesn't
No.
matter.
It's so freaking weird because I was thinking about this and I'm like, we sign ourselves up for some of this crazy stuff, which is like basically ensuring you're gonna have like these moments of adrenaline rushes. Like you get a tattoo, I mean, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel some sensations. It's like that. Like roller coasters. I love roller coasters. Like, take me on the
Yep.
highest freaking ones. Like, I will jump out of an airplane, but having a panic attack that I didn't plan for,
Yes.
no. Why would you? It's like, too, I thought about this just now. Childbirth. Like, I was like, "Oh, yeah, sign me up. I'll do that unmedicated. I don't need anything. I'll be fine." And it's like, what? Like,
Right?
our brains are so crazy.
Yeah. Like, I love roller coasters too, I'm with you on that, like, it's like, we'll totally wait in line, know we're gonna have that, like, butterfly stomach feeling, know that we're gonna, like, be sweating to go down that first hill, like, go upside down, all that,
Oh,
but if
yeah.
my body feels a hair too hot in a situation where I'm uncomfortable, I'm like, "Alert, alert." It's
Yeah.
like, "Get me out of this building right now."
Oh, yeah. It's
It's
so like,
crazy.
you just made me think, right, when I was doing the Barbie posts that have gone so insanely viral recently, which just, like, cracks me up, but I did one the other day of, like, when somebody says, "Let's just take the elevator." I mean, when I was struggling, it was like, why? No, I'm not taking the elevator. I will take 15 flights of stairs."
Not the elevator, but put me on the roller coaster,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like I mean, but when you were talking, of course, I think back to when I was struggling, and I would absolutely have the disordered anxiety and, like, the panicky moments waiting in line because, like, roller coasters, sometimes you have to wait, like, 45 minutes, an hour, and you're just standing there and you're like, "Oh, I don't wanna get out of line because I'm waiting and I don't like,
Yes.
not I don't wanna miss this, but I'm freaking out." And especially in
Yeah,
the summer, like, you're hot, you're oh
so
my
hot.
god,
Mhm.
yeah. So
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
the line is way scarier than the actual
yeah.
roller coaster.
Yeah, it's like, sign me up for all the like, I don't care how high it is, I don't care how many upside down loops, like, bring it on, but
Yeah.
waiting in line, can we just bypass that somehow?
No thanks.
Yeah, but it is so crazy how it doesn't I talk so much about this as students, right? Like, anxiety doesn't logically make sense oftentimes, and it's like, so many students will give examples, and it's just so funny, like, we're so similar in that if we are, like, expecting the anxiety or if it makes sense, like, it's somehow easier to navigate it, but if we're not expecting it and it, like, hits you out of nowhere, like, that's where you can really get thrown, and it's just so funny because it's like, it's the same thing, right? Like, adrenaline rush is an adrenaline rush, but it's
Yes.
not the same, like, it's not
Yes.
I will get a tattoo all day long, but, like, I am not
Yep.
signing up to have a panic attack unwarranted.
Never.
Yeah. Okay, so this is wild, and I wanna share this, and I feel like I have to put this disclaimer here. If anyone really struggles deeply with, like, emetophobia, the fear of vomiting, you might wanna skip this part. I don't usually put those wordings in there, but I just don't wanna, like, overly trigger anyone. This is really much along the lines of vomiting and the bathroom stuff and, like, oh my god. So last Tuesday, Tuesday, I was teaching my Panic to Peace session, which is live. Like, we meet for 90 minutes. We have probably 15 minutes left, and I start feeling not good. And I'm like, "Oh, this is so weird." I'm like, "Why?" And I had eaten before the class, so I'm like, "It's probably just, like, my stomach, I don't know, doing, like, something I ate." So, I'm able to, like, get through it, but I'm like, "No, there is something going on."
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So, sure enough, like, 10 minutes after the class ends, it hits me, and I'm like, that feeling of, like, "No, no, no, there is something wrong." And I knew. I'm like, "I am gonna be so sick." And it was literally at the exact time I have to go pick up Amelia. I'm like, "You've
Of
gotta be
course,
kidding me." Yeah, like,
obviously.
I had 10 minutes. I'm like, "I gotta leave the house. I've gotta pick her up." And it was like, I will not give too much detail because it was awful, but I'm literally calling my mother-in-law who lives close to her school, and I'm like, "Can you please go pick Amelia up?" Thank God she's available, but, like, I'm puking as I'm talking to her, and she's
Oh
like,
my god.
"Oh my god," like, "Don't worry, I've got it." Thank God for family, but I was so sick, like, so freaking sick, and I'm like, I have not been that sick in a long time, and it was brutal. It was, like, clearly food poisoning because after, like, an hour of getting everything out of my system, I was okay, like, I mean, I felt awful, like, my stomach was wrecked, but the reason why I wanna tell this story and like what we were talking about before with you look back and you're like, "I can't believe I did that." Like, I can't believe so in it, of course, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so bad. Like, am I gonna get through this?" It was so uncomfortable. And then after the fact, I like, the next day, I was just, like, fine. I mean, my stomach felt sensitive and gross and stuff, but, like, I got in the car with my boyfriend, and he drove, like, we had to drive, like, 40 minutes each way, and I was sitting there thinking, "Never would I ever have done
Uh-huh.
this." Like, I literally was puking my guts out and shitting myself, and now I'm getting in the car and just, like, going and I didn't have
Going on with your life.
yeah, like, I didn't have the thought, the worry of, like, "What if I'm not good? Like, what if I get sick? What if" and
Oh my
that
god, so true.
it was like I carried that fear because, like, if people don't know, I struggled with toilet anxiety for the longest time, like, years, and it was it was on the same level as panic attacks, like, that fear of me not being able to make it to a bathroom and the fear of me maybe, like, shitting myself was up there, and so for me to do this, I was just like, This is crazy," like, how
Yeah.
you can get to this very different place, and you're just like, "Life goes on," like, and now we're just gonna get in the car, and I think at that point, like, I had eaten lunch, like, I had I wasn't changing anything because, like, oh my god, back if this had happened when I was struggling, I mean, I wouldn't have gone, obviously, there's no way I would have gotten in the car, but I also would have been restricting my food and, like, everything and, like, trying to make sure that I didn't get sick. So, I mean, thankfully, I didn't have the emetophobia mixed in there, like, I've never struggled with that, but it's so similar to toilet anxiety, like, it's just
Yeah.
that control, right? Like, I don't want to puke, I don't wanna shit myself, and, like, how embarrassing, how awful, right? Like, oh, so I just like, I have to tell this story, but I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah. Well, it's just like one thing like that, and then you're just like, "How do I not know that won't happen again?" Like, you don't know exactly what it was, so it's just like, that could happen again. Like, I'll just never get in the car again. Like, it's just never
Yeah.
I'll never risk it. That's where your
Yeah.
brain goes. So it is a big deal to be like, "Okay, yeah, that's right. I'm okay."
Yeah, and now that you say that too, of course, I think it's really easy. Like I want to say this because I feel like it's totally human if you were even to be recovered and have that moment of like, oh, like I don't really like want to get in the car and go do the thing because there is that maybe fear there and like that makes sense. And I think, like, when I really thought back to it, I'm like, I definitely would have freaked out about, like, what did I eat? What was it? I'm never eating that again. And it's just like, who knows? Like, I don't know what it was. I mean, I had a salad but it's like, who knows what it was? And like,
The salad that I said looked good, and you were
yes.
like, "Yeah."
Oh my god. I, like, literally posted it in my stories, and it's so sad because it's, like, this place too, it had to have been in it, like, I will not say the name, obviously, but it's one of my favorite places to get
Mm.
lunch
It
in
looked
Maryland.
great.
It looked amazing, and it tasted
Looks so
good.
deceiving.
It tasted so good, but it was not, like so I think definitely I will not be going back there probably for a while, but, like, your brain does this thing where it's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it's fine," and I'm sure in, like, a month or 2 I'll get lunch there again, but
Yeah.
it was so funny. Patrick, my boyfriend, was like, "It's 'cause you eat too much healthy shit, like, stop eating so much healthy stuff, that's what it is." Like, "Okay, well, I don't think that that's it, but thanks." So, yeah,
My god.
I wanted to mention that because I think that that is just such a relatable and yeah, it was just such a hard part of my journey. I remember being so fixated on that stuff and to get to a place where you're like, "Oh, it's fine. I was puking my guts out, like, and shitting myself, and I'm not worried about it."
Yeah, and, like, last time we talked about this, we talked about how you should always celebrate even like, it doesn't matter what it is, like, celebrate the wins, and, like, you've been
Yeah.
recovered for how long? But you still have these moments of, like, "Oh my goodness, like, look what I just did." Like,
Yeah.
like, it doesn't end. Like, I feel like we're just because we've experienced what we have, we're just so much more grateful for everything now, We're just like,
Yeah. Yeah, and you really feel like
It's
because you do convince yourself, like, "I'm never gonna be that person again," right? But,
Yeah,
like, the version of myself that I am right now is so different than any version I've ever been. Like, I've never
yeah,
been so go with the flow, like, whatever, like, just
yes,
accepting of the unknown and uncertainty, and so it's like, it does suck having to go through all that stuff, but I think it equips you with so many things that you can't put a price on,
yeah.
like I mean, I definitely, if I could hit rewind, I would bypass all of it.
Still wouldn't wish it on anyone, but yes, I agree. I'm,
Yeah,
like, way more chill, I'm way more laid back, I'm way more just grateful for everything I'm able to do. Like, I'm like, "We did it, we made it." Like, it's so, like, much more exciting now because I don't take it for granted.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so I have to ask you, did this is like my brain's going off in different directions. Did you finish watching Love Is Blind?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, these are the moments in which I'm like, let's do a check-in. Why do you watch this? Why do you expect anything differently from season to season?
I know.
Like,
I know, like, when I ask other people if they're watching it, and if someone says no, I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't recommend it." You know, like, when you really like, a trash show or, like, one of the, like, reality shows that we love, I'm like, "Oh my god, you're missing out." But with Love Is Blind, I'm just like, "You're not missing out. Don't get into it." I don't know why I still watch it. It's
yeah.
awful.
It's so awful, and I mean, obviously, it's like, I don't know, I don't wanna sound like a jerk, but it's like these people are signing up to go on a reality dating show. So it's like, that in and of itself says something, and I think so many of the people, right, and I think especially on this season, you could see it, like, are just on there to get, like, the recognition, right, to get noticed,
Yeah.
to get something out of it, which is like, "Okay, that's cool, that makes sense." But as the viewer, you're like, "Okay, what does it say about me?" Because this is like, the mental health component of it in and of itself, you're just like, "This is unhealthy." Like, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
for everyone, but you're especially of course, I'm especially looking at the men going, "What?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
where did they find these people?"
It's insane. It's like they are not doing mental health evaluations before the casting at all. I mean, it's a mixed bag all around, but in general, their men have consistently been awful every season. There's like
Yeah.
1 or 2 good ones. Like, I
Oh my
I don't
god.
understand. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah, thank God for Vic, I think is his name. Like,
Yes.
what a man. Like, just an incredible who knows, right? We don't know him, but
Yeah.
from what we see on
True,
the
true,
show,
true.
it at least gives you that hope of like, okay, they're not all shit. But yeah, I think I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, everyone is being impacted by these people's behaviors, and it's so, like it's just sad. I felt sad.
It's crazy. Yeah, like, the concept of it was amazing, right? Like, I love, like I feel like we always I feel like it's false hope, right? Like, in the beginning of everyone, we see these people that are like, "All I ever care about is looks, and it never works out. Like, I need to change the way I see things, and I need to change the way I look for things in people, and I wanna connect with my best friend and fall in love in other ways first." And so they say all these things, and we're like, "Yes, like, good for you, like, good for you."
Yeah,
And then they, like, see each other and they're like, "Oh, well, she's not even blonde," or, like, "She's not even brunette," and you're like, "Wait, what?" Like,
yeah,
you were just going on about how she's your best friend and you can't believe the connection, and, like, now it goes right out the window, like, just DMing other girls, and it's like, "What?" Like, how
I
is this
know.
it's
It's
so
so
embarrassing for them.
you would think, right, that people would be like, "Can we just like, I'm just gonna leave, right? Because I don't want anyone to see any more of this." But, like, one of the men, I cannot remember his name, but I was just watching him going, "There is something so incredibly." It wasn't Chris. Chris is glaringly like,
But
he
I was gonna say if it's
no.
yes.
He needs help, like, there's no
Yeah.
doubt about it, but one of the other men, he's now, like, engaged and I think having a baby or something, and you're just
Oh,
"What?"
Devontae.
Yes, Devonte, and you're
Yes.
just
Yes.
watching him, and you're watching this in real time, and you're like, there is something so disconnected, like, you are not even there, like, it's so bizarre, and it's just yeah, it's just so sad on so many
Like,
levels.
these are people's feelings.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not like Real Housewives when you're watching, like, the girls, they're fighting over champagne problems, you know? Like, we can escape our reality and just, like, enjoy watching them fight over, like, a $10,000 purse that we could never afford, you know? Like, mindless, like, whatever. For them, it's, like, a big deal, but it's, like, not really. But, like, Love is Blind is, like, this is, like, real people's feelings. Like, this is, like,
Yeah.
real like, some people really are going on this to, like, find love, you know? And we're watching it, like, thinking differently, and here it's heartbreaking, like, the Devontae and Brittany situation was, like,
Oh,
so hard to watch.
yeah.
It's like this poor girl, like, she's putting her all in it, and she's saying things, and he's just, like, glazed o like, he's, like, looking the other way,
Yeah.
like, not even in it
Oh,
at all, and you're like, "This is messed up." Like, I don't it doesn't feel good to watch it, like,
yeah.
honestly.
Oh, I mean, I could go on for days, but it's just, like, it's so unhealthy, and I think I
Mhm.
don't even wanna go down this rabbit hole, but I also started watching The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and that too is giving me the feelings of, like, I mean, it has given me these feelings, but
Yeah.
it's just heartbreaking, and you think of obviously being a parent, being a mom, like, I can't imagine, and at some point, it's like, I don't know, the networks obviously, like, are gonna make the money, but it's like, can we not do this at the expense of every single person in this room?
Yeah. Oh,
Ugh.
totally. And I remember when I was younger, like, I don't know about you, but, like, I was obsessed with, like, Road Rules and Real
Oh,
World, and I remember being like, "Oh my god, I wanna go on so bad." And now being an adult watching stuff, I'm like, "Thank goodness I never applied." Because like, when you, like, judge people and you're like, "Oh my god, I would never do that." It's like but, like, they say, like, sometimes you forget the cameras are there. I'm just like, "Thank goodness I never went for that," because I can't even imagine what I would be like on
oh, yeah.
TV.
Well, I feel like it's, like, all the reels that you see or I don't know, it's probably just my algorithm, but, like, all the millennial content that's, like, we didn't have to live through, like, our stuff being put out on social media, like, we
Oh my
didn't have
god,
and
yes.
thank God, because
For real,
there would
for
be
real.
like, it would be insanity.
Oh,
Okay.
we are, like, the last lucky generation, thank
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, and that's what so many people are saying, it's so true, and it oh my gosh, okay. I feel like we can keep going off on this, but I let's talk about going to the doctors.
Yay.
I'm laughing, but it's, like, so not funny. This is, like, a coping mechanism of mine. So I shared in my stories on Instagram, which I never rant. Like, I don't vent. I don't it's just not me because I'm like, I just gotta process and, like, get rid of it because I don't wanna hold on to it. But it usually doesn't come in the form of me getting on social and talking about it. But I went to the doctors and I could not even believe, like, this doctor and the experience that I had. It was like, as soon as she opened the door, I was like, "Oh, no, this is" and I worked in healthcare for, like, years and years, and I get it. Like, it's hard. It's really taxing emotionally, mentally. Like, there's so much to it, and we all have bad days. We all have human stuff, but, like, I could tell as soon as she came in the room she was not in a good place, like, she was not gonna hear me, like, I just felt
Great
so
start.
yeah, and it was like, I felt so dismissed, like, so belittled and, like, invalidated. It was just everything that you could feel, right? And all I could think of was, this is how I felt so many times when I was struggling with anxiety,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
you go to the doctors or you seek support, and it's just like that being minimized or not being heard or just like, "Oh, yeah, it's like some stuff is not normal, but, like, it's normal enough, and there's not really anything going on," and you're like, Okay, but I feel" like, "Do you care about how I feel?" Like, there were 0 questions about, like, "Tell me how you're feeling. What do things look like?" None of that. It was just like, "But, yeah, everything like, there are some abnormal results, but all around, like, it's pretty normal, and you're fine." And I was like,
Good enough.
"Oh my
Good
god."
enough. Have a good day.
Yeah, I was like, "Excuse me?" And, like, Patrick was with me, and when we left, it was so funny. He just, like, made a comment, like, "What is this, the" like, one of those express things that you go to get your oil change
Yes.
or something? And I was like,
Yes.
"It's literally what
Oh
it"
my god. All right, have a good day. Next.
Yeah, it's, like, literally what it felt like.
Not funny, but
Oh,
obviously.
it was so infuriating, and I just wanted to, like, vent about it and share because, of course, I got a ton of DMs after that's like, "I am so sorry you experienced this. I've experienced this so many times." And it's so hard, I think, especially being a highly sensitive person, an empath, like, somebody who has worked in healthcare, and I work with people every day, right, with, like, mental health stuff, and never it's like, I have been through the fucking ringer over the past
Yeah.
year, like, never would I ever treat anyone like that, and I
Yeah.
just it's so disheartening, and you're like, "Okay, I know there are good doctors out there, obviously," and thank God my doctor, like, the one that I usually see, followed up with me after, and she was like, "I am so sorry." I was just like, "This can't be. Like, what
Yeah.
why?" And I feel like so many of us, especially living in the States, it's so discouraging because this is often the experience. Like,
Mhm.
it's shit. It's like we pay a lot of money to be
Yeah.
treated like that. I'm like, "Oh my god."
Especially women, and when you have a woman doctor too, it's even
Uh-huh.
worse because it's like she knows how much, like, we're just not seen and not heard often, so, like, to just be right on board with that, it just feels, like, so unfair. It's like, "Why did I" it's like, "Sorry that I bothered you?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Sorry that
totally
I"
how I felt. Yeah. It was like I
that's why you don't go that and then when people are like, "You gotta go to the doctor for that," you're like, "Why? What, so no one will listen to me?" Like, it's terrible. It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, yeah, it was such a bad feeling, and, like, I've not had an experience like that in a while, and I don't know, it's also that it's so hard for me because this is something I'm working on in therapy, is, like, I'm such an empath, so, of course, I'm like, "Maybe she just got really bad news,
Uh,
maybe she had a
yes,
worse day of her
yes.
life," like, I don't know, but also it's, like, not okay, that's, like, not
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, and then I feel like you told me, like, you went to a doctor's appointment and was like, "I had a great experience," and I'm like, "Well, good for you." Like, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, well, you just never know, it stings, like, when I was having the baby, we had a girl doctor who kept a woman doctor who just kept, like, being like, "Oh, it's your first time," like, "Oh, okay," like, she kept, like, shitting on every feeling I had, and I'm like, "Lady, like, I have a really strong pain tolerance, like, I'm only telling you this pain because it's, like, real, like, you don't need to, like" and she just kept, like, talking to us like we were, like, dumb little kids, and I'm like, "We're not 15, like, what?" Like, we're grown adults, and,
Yeah,
like, I know my body, so that feeling was terrible. It was just like, "W okay, like, thanks. Sorry that we wasted your time since we're new parent, like, new
ugh,
we don't know anything, I guess."
yeah. Oh, that's the worst. It's like that talking down to you, like, belittling.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this I don't know, my brain's going to this thing that I wanna talk about that is kind of along the lines of, like, not being dismissive, right? So, ugh, having a child, we all know there's so many things to navigate, and it feels like consistently, like, you're navigating new hard stuff, and, like,
Mhm.
I
Every
don't
day.
every day, and it's, like, true what people say, right? Like, it doesn't get easier necessarily, the challenges just change, and, like, I don't know, it just looks differently. So, Amelia's 7, she's almost 8, and she's been having a lot of fear at bedtime, and, ugh, it kills me, obviously, to see her struggling in any
Yeah.
way, but selfishly, I'm like, "I love sleep." No, I cannot go back to, like, having a
Yes.
hard time with you sleeping, like,
Yeah.
"You are too old for this." So, it would be, like,
Mhm.
so easy, right, to be dismissive and just like, "This is not a big deal," but she's been having such a hard time with it, and it's like the going to bed at night feeling like it's dark, it's scary, what if somebody broke in? Like, I mean, the stuff that I feel like is normal for a kid to experience, and it's been so tricky because she is, like, so aware and so smart, and so sometimes she'll be like, "Oh, I don't wanna say anything because I don't want you to get annoyed with me," and I'm like, "Oh my god, like, no." And so she said the other night, which, was, like, such a moment, she's like, "Mama, I just like to tell you that I'm feeling scared because it helps me to say it out loud." And I was like, "Of
Preach, girl, preach.
yeah." I was like, of course it helps
Relatable.
you." Oh my god, it instantly brought me back to, right, when you are feeling so anxious all the time and you're carrying so much fear and you're trying to hide all of it and you're not talking about it, and, like, that feels so heavy and shitty, and just to be able to sometimes say, like, "I'm feeling anxious, like, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling overwhelmed," it's so helpful, and so I was just laying there and I was like, of course, that's so helpful. Like, please tell me," and she's just so cute because she's like, "Mama, I know maybe it's a little bit annoying and I don't want you to get annoyed with me." Like, no, like, please tell me. And it's so beautiful that, like, I can see her communicating things that I never would have communicated when I was a kid,
Never.
ever.
No way. Yeah, you're, like, wanting to just be like, "Oh my god, Amelia, you have no idea how relatable this
You have
is."
no like, you almost wanna go there and tell them, like, the traumatic stories of your childhood, but you're like, "I'm not gonna do that."
No, refrain for now.
But you literally all I could think was like, okay, when I was a kid, and I know a lot of millennials, like, experience this, right? Because we grew up in the generation and generations prior even, where it's like, you don't talk about these feelings. So, I remember as a kid, like, we lived in this old Victorian apartment building, and it already had, like, the haunted feel to it. It was, like, the creepiest. But, like, my bedroom had a stairway leading up to it, like, basically from the door. So if somebody walked in and they walked up the stairs, like, my bedroom's the I'm the first one to go, okay? That was, like, my thought as a kid. And I remember, like, going to bed at night, and it was not like, my mom put me to bed and it was good night, went in her room and with my father and, like, shut the door. Like, it was not like, we're not doing this, "I'm scared," or,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"You can come
Be
in."
quiet and you suffer through.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
I can imagine if I ever had, like, knocked on the door or oh my god, it wouldn't have been my mom, but my dad, like, it would have
Yeah.
been like, "You're fine, go to bed." But I remember being a kid, right, and, like, being scared of all this stuff, and I wanted to tell her, like, I would literally run and jump into my bed because I was terrified that there was, like, someone under my bed or something, or somebody was gonna break in, but it's like, obviously not gonna tell her all that stuff. But it's
Yeah.
like, it's just so crazy to see the contrast, right, of sometimes how you
Yes.
were raised to now, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yes. The you're fine, like, and it's so true. It's like that and then that's, like, how we talk to ourselves, like,
Yeah,
as adults. Like, now we're like, "You're fine," because 'cause we're, like, channeling, like, our parents from when we were younger and not knowing any differently. So her reacting that way at her age is like, ugh, like, gives us so much hope for the littles. Like, they're
yeah,
getting, like, a completely different because, like, obviously, we have no idea what we're doing. Like you said, I mean, it's a new thing every day.
yeah, and of course, I have
But
my
we're
mom on the other end of things being I don't understand parenting these days, and, like, why you're asking your kids how they feel. I mean, I'm making her sound horrible, my mom's amazing, but she will oftentimes make comments like that, like, "No, no, 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 you don't check in with your kids and ask them, like, 'Do you wanna go here? Do you wanna go there?' Like, 'Get in the car, we're going.'"
yeah, we're
Like
going.
yeah, like, we didn't get options, okay? And it's so tricky because you're like, I lived that, and I knew how some of that made me feel, and some of the ways it caused me to act then, and the patterns that I developed and the avoidance of feelings, and, like, I don't want Amelia to go through that, so it's there's no such thing as balance, but it's, like, trying to figure
Yeah.
out, is there
It's all
how
so hard.
yeah,
It's so hard because it's like you understand where they're coming from. Like, well, like I told you, like I had like a similar fear conversation with Gianna recently. We've been talking about this for a while. Like when we came back from our big road trip, like through New England, we were like Gianna was amazing. She's 5.5. Like she was such a great traveler. And then we were like, next time, do you want to go on a plane? And she's like, nope. She goes, she was like, actually, no. But we
yeah,
were like, "Wait, like, why not? Like, I don't understand." and she told us that she was afraid of flying. And we
Um,
were like, "Okay, like, we'll talk about it," and, like, since then, she's told me again, like, she's really afraid, and I said, "What are you afraid of?" And she said she's afraid of landing the plane, like, she's afraid of
mm,
that whole,
yeah.
like, scariness, and it's like my first reaction in my head is like, "There's nothing to be afraid of. Flying is the safest travel," because like, that's true, and, like, that's, like, what I feel like our parents have said to us, like, "What are you talking about? There's nothing to be afraid of." But instead, I've approached it sort of like how, everything that we talk about with Panic to Peace and like the little steps. I've just been like, okay, I'm gonna just let her have her fear, and I'm not gonna tell her it's
Ugh.
because I mean, it is like landing is kind of scary. It's the
Yeah.
scariest part for me. I love flying, but like the concept, it is a little bit scary. So I'm like, it's okay to be afraid, but and then I, like, explained to her, like, how safe it is, and I was like, "There's gonna be" and I, like, focused on the things that I think she would love about flying, like, that we can get to another place fast, and she loves maps, and I'm like, "There's, like, a map on the back of the plane seat, and you'll always know what state you're flying over," and, like, I just kind of, like, approached it like, "Oh, it makes sense that you're afraid, that's totally okay." I was like, like, we're afraid of stuff too, everybody is,
Yeah.
and, like, that little bit of, like, not being like, "It's fine, like, if there's nothing to be afraid of, you're just a
Yeah.
kid, be quiet," like, just letting her have her fear, but, like, giving her, like, things, and, like, now she said she'll fly, so we'll see we'll see when we
Yeah.
get there, but, it's
We
just crazy.
we overlook that validation. Like, it's one of the most helpful things, and it's like, when you just validate, like, yeah, of course, it makes sense that you feel scared. Of course, it makes sense that you feel anxious. Like, it is scary, right? It is kind of a scary thought, not that you would necessarily tell your little one this, but, like, it is scary to land the plane, right? Like, but
Yeah.
it's
Like, how do you know that? That is kinda scary, actually.
but it is, like, so helpful to just do that validation rather than being dismissive. I'm just thinking, right, like, this is one of the things that, like, I am sort of, like, focusing on and working through in therapy is, like, parenting and co-parenting, and, like, I think something massive that's come up for me, of course, and I'm sure with many divorced parents is, like, you don't want all of this to affect your kid negatively, like, in really big ways. Of course, Amelia's gonna have effects, right, from her parents separating and divorcing and, like, going through all of this stuff, but it is, like, such a thing for me, of course, because my parents divorced. I mean, granted, I was, like, a teenager, but no matter when, it leaves an impact, and it's so incredibly hard, and so it's like this of course, I wanna control all the things, and I'm like, I don't want her to have any big stuff that she has to work through, and I just find it so helpful that my therapist said a couple of really good things. She was like, "Okay, Shannon, of course, like, you had your experiences, right? But your traumas aren't hers, and, like, it's not the same." And also what I freaking loved this, and I feel like I've heard it before, but, like, when you really need it in the moment and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy you said that." So she said, it's not really about, like, trauma is less about the event that happened, and it's more about the lack of safety or validation or support after. And I was just like, "Oh."
Yes.
Like, you're
Yeah.
so right, because
Yep.
it like, divorce, right, is hard, it's chaotic, it's a lot of things, especially for kids, but if they get, like, that validation, that safety, that support, that love,
Yeah.
it doesn't obviously erase the trauma, but, like, it allows them to actually process and move through it and
Well,
not
it's less of
have
a trauma. Yeah, like, it's more of just an experience, which is very normal, like
yeah.
yeah, it's a really good point.
Yeah, and they don't, because all I can think, of course, we all think this as parents, like, I hear this all the time from students of mine, like, "I don't want to give this to my kid," like, the anxiety,
Yeah.
like, I don't want them to
Yeah.
struggle in these ways, and I think when you do start to see it even in little ways, like, of course, I've seen it, in very normal ways with Amelia come out, like, the anxiety, I'm like, "Ooh." like, I don't want her to go through what I went through because that was absolute hell. And I remember when I started struggling with panic disorder bad, it was like right around the time that my parents divorced. So it's like, I I know I've got to recognize, right? Like I want to control, but as long as she's getting that love, validation, support, she's gonna be okay. But I'm like, how am I still here talking about my childhood shit in therapy? Can we stop? Like, does it ever stop?
Yeah, right. It's so true though. I mean, because you have to figure like, yes, of course, divorce sucks. Nobody goes into marriage like hoping for that. But it also is like really common. Like our kids are going to experience a lot of stuff like
Mhm.
we did. But it really is about the way that they're able to say, Mom, I'm afraid, or Mom, I feel
Yeah.
sad about this. Like that really is the difference. Like we experienced those traumas, but we were also tough and we weren't supposed to talk about it and we weren't supposed to be sad about it or mad about it. So we just held it all in and now we're still in therapy about it today.
Because we weren't so tough. It's so funny because I look back and I'm like, I was I appeared to be so tough, like, so hard, and I am, like, the biggest freaking wuss in the world, like, I will cry on a dime. If you raise your voice, I am crying, okay?
Oh my God. Totally. Totally. So tough, hyper independent, like nothing can stop me, but also like, what?
Yeah. Oh, it's so I mean, the things it's like this stuff, right? The things that trigger you still. So I'll mention here because this has been helpful for me. I came across this therapist. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she wrote a book called The Origins of You. And it talks about the wounds that you can get from childhood, not just childhood, but like at different points throughout your life and like how to identify them and how to work through them. Because obviously, like the wounds cause patterns and behaviors. And like if you don't work through that shit, it comes up. And like, of course, being in a new relationship, like, here we are again. Like, let's revisit your childhood wounds. But it's been such a helpful book and, like, literally has helped me to put pieces together, but also just give myself a lot more grace because I have recognized, like, I've gone through a lot, right? And, like, of course, I want the best for me and Amelia, and, like, I want life to be beautiful, but we've gotta work through some of this hard stuff sometimes in order to get there. So,
Yeah.
if anyone's looking for another book, it is a good one, and I do recommend it. Okay, I feel like we've talked about so much, and
You really have.
we could talk for hours. But we're planning on recording at least one of these a month, and I'm so excited because I just love them, and I think they're so fun and just also helpful. So we will talk to you guys again really soon on here.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. I hope you loved this episode of A Healthy Push. If you have, I'd be so grateful if you could leave me a rating and review wherever you're listening to this podcast. This helps people to find the show and get the support they need. And if you know someone who could use a little push, be sure to share this episode with them. And for even more support, head over to ahealthypush.com for show notes and loads of tips, tools, and inspiration to help you on your recovery journey. I'll see you next week.